Rings of Power. The Rings of Power. Season 2. Um, let's talk about that. Good mythical morning. No, John, it's not morning. It's like 12:20 in the afternoon. I know. It's my channel. I can do and say what I want. But Rings of Power has apparently lost 50% of its viewers. Huh. Can't imagine why. It is one of the greatest mysteries of the modern age. Why are people not tuning in to Rings of Power? Maybe because we were promised a story explaining the Second Age, which really hasn't been explored. And instead, what we got was a fanfic. That might be one thing. And I love how they always front and center is Galadriel, who in the movies, the books, amazing character. And in fact, I saw this, it was on Facebook, I think. But here's one reason why, people might not like this as much. So Galadriel in the books, she's the same height as me. She's 6'4", never visited Numenor. And then we have this version who is able to go to Numenor and then take down 5-6 Numenorians in like few seconds. Numenorians who are like the greatest of warriors, and she's able to single-handedly take them down easily. Extremely wise and powerful. Yeah. Magic capabilities. Exactly. That's what she was known for. She wasn't a warrior. She never picked up a sword. Elrond was more of the warrior, but only because he kind of didn't really have a choice. Elegant and refined. Yeah. She's very very smart with her words. Everything is presented with such elegance and sophistication. Even when she was talking to Frodo, the whole thing with the mirror and stuff like that, she's very elegant. Like she exudes elegance. Her presence commands respect. And I've said that ages ago. This is a woman who, even if some people of Middle Earth don't know the name Galadriel, they most likely know her by one of her many other names. Because that is how well known this woman is. In the movies, at least, you see when she finally shows up, she has this aura about her, this radiance, and the beauty from her, the majesty of her. She doesn't have to say anything. She doesn't have to do anything. She commands respect just by her mere presence, just by the things she's done in the past and how strong she is. But people nowadays think that taking a character and making that, we want to make a really strong, badass character. Well, what was wrong with her in the first place? They think that, oh, let's put her in armor and give her a sword and that makes her badass. No, it doesn't. Badass doesn't mean getting physical and, oh, she can rough the boys up. No. This was badass. That was badass. The fact that she didn't even have to do anything and people would cower before her. That was badass. And then we have Galadriel, which I love how it's spelled. We have it up here where it's like, proper. And then it looks like a 5-year-old wrote it. Takes command of Numenor. Immature and impulsive. Also kind of realizes that the dude she wants to get, railed by is actually Sauron. She's like, no, I love him. Immature and impulsive. Needs a sword. Acts like a 10-year-old spoiled brat. Tough guy attitude. Yeah, because again, and it's not just Lord of the Rings. Every time you see a woman they want to be badass, it's always she's got to be like one of the guys. But people don't realize that you don't have to be one of the guys to be badass. You don't. The fact that of how magically capable she is, the fact that her presence alone, the elegance and just all that she exudes, how she can bring people to their knees just with her presence. That is badass. But I saw this and I was like, this was one reason why people, because they took Galadriel, one of the most amazing characters, and they made her a whiny little warrior bitch who's like, oh my god, Sauron, he's back. But I want him to fuck me so bad. I love him. Um, I went over the other day, Tom Bombadil. Fan favorite Tom Bombadil. Jolly old merry Tom Bombadil lives in the forest with his wife Goldberry, who's a water spirit, and he rescues Frodo, and well, technically he rescues Merry and Pippin from Old Man Willow, but he's like, oh yeah, come party and celebrate with me, and every day is a party for me. So he's just happy and one with nature. But in Rings of Power, he's gonna be like Mr. Doom and Gloom. He's living in a freaking desert or something. Goldberry doesn't seem to be around, so they take characters and ruin it. And then when viewership goes down, it's like, we were promised Lord of the Rings. We were told we were going to get told the tale of the Second Age. This isn't the Second Age. This is a Second Age of fanfic. Like, they're trying to hype up this Sauron Galadriel relationship. And, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. The stranger or the traveler or wanderer, whatever the hell his name is, totally not Gandalf, even though apparently Gandalf wasn't around in the Second Age. But sure, let's add Gandalf there for whatever reason. The fact that Galadriel is supposed to be married with a child at this point, nope. Which means in this incarnation of Lord of the Rings, Arwen's apparently never going to exist. She's never going to exist. Who's Aragorn gonna marry now? Who is Aragorn gonna marry now? Because Arwen's not going to exist. It's. And then when you talk out and speak out against it, you get, oh, well, you're just a misogynist, you're a homophobe, you're racist, you're this. It's like, no, they're terrible characters. The marketing for Rings of Power was atrocious. They paid a whole bunch of, shills to come out there to basically talk good about it. You have, what's her face? I can't remember her name, but plays Disa, the first black female dwarf on screen. It's like, talk about the show. Why should we watch it? Most normal people are not going to care that you were the first black female dwarf. Like, no one gives a shit. And then once again, when you start speaking out against it, oh, it's not because, no one gives a flying crap. It's because you're racist. You just hate strong women. No, we just don't see what having the first black female dwarf has to do with anything. Like, why is that a selling point? Why is that a selling point? So 1.8 million for season 1. 902,000 over 5 days. First 5 days. Premiere for 4 days. So they gave it a day and it still failed. It still didn't even pass what season 1 did in 4 days. And also, this 4-day, the premiere, this should have been way up there. That should have been way up there. 1.8 million for a first episode. Even Doctor Who, like, even Jodie Whittaker or what's his Cootie, whatever the fuck his name is, like 11 million. So 1.8 million for the first episode in 4 days. That's abysmal. But it's like they don't keep to the lore, even though they said, "Oh yeah, we're gonna respect Tolkien's work," but then they didn't. You know, we have orcs who are just misunderstood. They're just misunderstood. They just want to feed their orc families. You know, the males just want to feed the orc families and their little orc babies, you know, and they just want a better life. No, that's not how it works. The orcs are not redeemable. That's the whole point. They're not redeemable. Galadriel, again, trying to make her badass is like, I brought this up the last time. It's like the Fellowship had to work together and almost got killed just to take down a cave troll. Galadriel took on an ice troll, which is several times bigger, and she did it in like 10 seconds. Like, what the fuck? And then when people question it, you're just hateful bigots. No, it makes no sense. When is she going to use magic? Because that's Galadriel's thing. She uses magic. So when's she going to start using it? When are... Why is Chris Pine trending? Is it his birthday or something? Oh. Did he just spit on Chris Pine? Why would you spit on Chris Pine? You just can't see the budget on screen. It's meant to be one of the biggest shows of all time, and yet plays out like a CW teen drama with more elaborate costumes and sets. Why is it so hard for these folks to just make a quality show that we can enjoy without trying to be all political message? Yeah. And it was, again, the marketing was, we have a diverse cast. It's just, who cares? What is it about this project that's going to attract not only Lord of the Rings fans, but new people? Most normal people don't give a flying fuck about diversity. Give us a reason, give us a selling point. But the chick that's like every single time, just the first black female dwarf. It's like, fuck it. For the love of fucking Lucifer, stop with the female dwarf thing. Who cares? Talk about the show. It's so good to have representation on screen. And then, like, a Comic-Con or one of the conventions, people were freaking talking about, I'm a member of the LGBTQ plus community, and we were wondering if there's going to be some representation. It's fucking Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings. Not Lord of the Representation. And then people wonder why viewership is going down. Going down like Galadriel on Sauron. Which that didn't make any sense. She meets him in the freaking ocean. In the entire ocean. She just happens to come across him. Happens to come across the Dark Lord himself. Well, funny little world, isn't it? But 1 billion. Why does this show exist? It's not looking good at all. Oh, is it actually... Oh, okay. The Park Place or season power suffers nearly 50% decline from season 1. Charlie Vickers is Sauron. Charlie Vickers is Anatar, the Lord of Gifts. Well, it doesn't say Lord of Gifts, but that's what Anatar was. That's the title that he had, Lord of Gifts. Power. See, the first episode of Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, season 2, was only watched by 9 902,000 U.S. households in the first 5 days. That's back in February 2023. Following the conclusion of the show's first season, Sama TV revealed that premiere episode of the show was watched by 1.8 million households in its first 4 days after release. It even racked up to 3.3 million views in the first 15 days. The decline from 1.8 million to 902,000 is a whopping 49.8%. While the decline is massive, it's not really surprising, given a report from Kim Masters at the Hollywood Reporter back in April 2023 revealed that 63% of individuals who watched the show, watched part of the show's premiere back in 2022, did not complete the show. Because it's a slog fest. You know, it's just basically fan fiction. Again, we were told, yeah, we're going to tell the story of the Second Age. Telling the story is taking the information that has been provided to you by the great J.R.R. Tolkien, and just, if something isn't there, you just expand on it a little bit. You don't take characters and change them. You don't add things that weren't there to begin with. You know, you tell the story, but you take some liberties if there's, if some of the information isn't there. But again, there's no excuse for taking someone like Galadriel and just completely bastardizing her character. There's no reason. There's no freaking reason. Making her go to Numenor never happened, so why is she doing it? This isn't telling the tale of the Second Age. This is telling the tale of the Second Age through the eyes of someone who's just writing a really bad fanfic. Because again, like, we're having this shipping of Sauron and Galadriel, even though at this point she was married with a child. And that child, daughter would go on to marry Elrond. And Arwen comes along. So again, Arwen's not going to exist in this universe. She's not. Aragorn, looks like you're dying alone, buddy. I guess Eowyn's gonna have her shot at you because Arwen's not gonna exist. He's not going to exist. For people who don't know. So, yeah. Without this woman right here, there's no one to go on to marry Elrond, and then Arwen is never going to exist. All because these people rather write a fanfic where Sauron and Galadriel look at each other with freaking just like, oh god, rather than telling the story as it is. Tell me, where is Gandalf, for I much desire to speak with him. Lothlorien. Also, she's got her names in here, I believe. Oh, yeah. That is Galadriel. Titles. Princess of the Noldor, Lady of Lorien, Lady of the Wood. Yeah. Mistress of Magic. Any one of those titles, if someone in the world hears any one of those titles, they know who they're talking about because her name is famous through the world. 6'4". She's a big lady. She's 6'4", just like me. Second Age. And then, you look at this and then think about how much of this is actually being shown in Rings of Power. In Second Age, Maianatar, the Lord of Gifts. The Lord of Gifts. So when you take something like this, something that has, you know, and I said this in a comment, when you take something like Lord of the Rings, where it's a world that J.R.R. Tolkien has poured his heart and soul into it, creating the origin story of the world, making languages for every race, and then Amazon takes it and then says, "Oh yeah, it's in good hands. We're going to tell the story of the Second Age." You know, we got to see a lot of the Third Age between, you know, Bilbo taking, you know, his quest to Lord of the Rings. You know, we've seen that. But we're going to tell the story of the Second Age. But don't worry, I'm sure a lot of the Lord of the Rings fans are nervous, but don't worry. We are going to respect the works of J.R.R. Tolkien. We will be working closely. And then what happens? What happens? And then people watch the show and realize that they've been lied to, that the work of J.R.R. Tolkien is completely being bastardized, characters are being changed. And it's like, okay, well, fool me once, you know? Shame on you. Fool me twice, being the second season. People are realizing that the people who create this don't really care. They don't care. They don't. So for it to go down 50%, it's not surprising. People are just tired of it. People are just tired of their hobbies and their passions and just completely being ruined by, you know, assholes who are just trying to make a quick buck. Hey guys, you know Lord of the Rings? Yeah, we're gonna make the tale of the Second Age, and don't worry, it's in good hands. Oh wow, I think I'll it's you said it's Amazon? What? Well, I better get a subscription right now. Well, what do you know? That's more money. And then they find out, oh hey, it's really not that great. They took the characters I know and love, and they butchered them. Butchered them. My shocked face. Tom Bombadil is spinning in his grave. Pork chops are at stake. Wait, well, that's not the funniest part. The funniest part is that their contract demands them to create a season 3, since they signed a 3-season contract, even if it goes poorly, if I recall. Probably. Even when I try to ignore the DEI bullshit, it's just boring. The first season was beyond disappointing compared to the source material. I love the Silmarillion. The stories and characters contained within are wonderful. The show is as cheap as cheap fan fiction can be. I still don't understand how it costs so much to make. Yeah, that's what I would love to see. Silmarillion, basically like, you know, from like the origins of the world and onward, and I would love to see the first age. That's what I would love to see. Eru Ilúvatar, you know, the god of that world, you know, and then just a creation story. I would love to see that, but not by Amazon or Netflix. Someone who's going to take the source material and respect it. Because especially with the Silmarillion and the creation story and all that, there's plenty to work with. There's plenty to work with. There'd be no excuse to mess it up. But yeah, down by half. Can't imagine why. Can't imagine why. But anyway, that's going to do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.